Good morning, everyone. Jim Laird coming to you live from Grand Pacifica, Nicaragua. It is a very windy day here today. That's why I'm just inside the sliding door of my upstairs bedroom. As you can see, I got my patio right here. So the wind noise is absolutely nuts on the patio. So we're so I'm a water creature. So I've been playing around with like a boogie board, and I've been just paddling around out there. And yesterday, there's there's a really sandy beach down here to this direction that everybody does their thing and surfs and does all that stuff. So I hang out down there, and it was low tide, and so I paddled out. You bob you go under the waves, and you get yourself out there, and then you set yourself up to like ride in on a wave. So I was just been playing around. I've mainly been practicing just swimming around in there. I haven't gotten any fins yet. I need to though. So I get out there, and all of a sudden I get caught up in this current, and it takes me about a mile out to sea, and I'm on my boogie board, and I'm like, I can barely see the shore, and I'm like, oh boy. And it's like 5:00, so the sun sets at about 6. So I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, I'm like, well, okay, I'm just gonna start paddling. Obviously I was trying to paddle towards the shore, and it wasn't letting me go. So I started paddling. I've been, told that you get caught in a current, paddle parallel to the shore. So I started paddling parallel to the shore. I started kicking, and then it brought me all the way back over here. Unfortunately, the tide brought me all the way over, and it brought me into some rocks, and it smashed me into the rocks. So it brought me down about 1.5 miles down the beach. It was a very humbling experience. I don't think I was ever really freaked out. The rocks freaked me out a little bit, but I just relaxed and tried to flow, and not get too tensed up. But it was very interesting. My legs are cut up a little bit, but we're okay. So we learned the hard way. I need to get some flippers. I need to be a little more careful, and maybe need to talk to some of the locals about how to avoid that. And probably need to have someone around that can swim really well when I'm doing stuff like that. Probably not a good idea for me to be doing that by myself. But I was sitting out there while I was bobbing around in the ocean. I was thinking, okay, worst case scenario, the sun goes down. Okay, at least I'll be able to see the shore. Then I remembered we have all these fishing boats that come up off here in the middle of the night that run their lights, so you can see them out in the ocean. So I'm like, worst case scenario, I can just paddle out to one of those fishing boats and be like, hey, amigos, like, what the hell is this gringo doing out here? So Dr. Soman and I are doing our class this week on EMF. Unfortunately, it's too late to get into it, but you can get on our email list by going over to Stillman Wellness and joining that, and then you get the email every Wednesday night about a register fee for the webinar that's upcoming, or the lesson. There's no sales in these webinars. It's just a straight up lesson that goes into our Fundamentals of Wellness Masterclass coaching course. So I shared, I repurposed or reshared a video of a gentleman talking about the biggest crime right now is the destruction of children and the innocence of childhood. And if you've heard me speak for a while, I've been very, very outspoken about the education system, the athletic development system, and how it basically turns children into little adults. And he basically said in this video is it's turning children into little consumers, and then it's also exposing them to things that are very complex, that are beyond their comprehension. And Jesus said, you can't enter the kingdom of heaven unless you're innocent like a child, unless you're like a child. And there's something about that childhood innocence of learning, exploring, playing in a safe way. We're pushing information. Your brain isn't really developed until you're in their mid-20s for men. It's a little younger for girls or women. And that's why, the drinking age is 21, because you tend to make, you don't make good decisions when you're 15, 16, 11, 10, 9. But they're forcing a lot of these decisions and exposing children to things that are just really hard to grasp unless you have some context. So it's really, really disturbing. I don't want to get into any details. Obviously, the algorithm doesn't like me already. But it's really disturbing, some of the things that are happening now and some of the things that are being forced on children, particularly in the school system. A lot of this stuff just doesn't need to be introduced at all, or not until much later down the road. And then making sure that people are making decisions that are going to affect them for the rest of their life when they're old enough to make those decisions rationally and reasonably. I'm all about adults being able to do whatever they want with their own body, but when it comes to children, that is a totally different kettle of fish. So, deep topic today, I know, but these things need to be discussed. They need to be talked about, because it's if you take away childhood, you end up with some really mentally ill people, and particularly people that don't play is so important for the development of the brain and learning. And if you take away play and you take away children's ability to play, it's really going to affect their development, not only socially, mentally, spiritually, all of the things. So take a look at that video on Instagram. Let me know what your thoughts and feelings are on this. But we need to do everything we can to simplify children, and let them play and let them be kids, and let them worry about being an adult when they become an adult, because we need to obviously guide them and teach them and mentor them, but we don't need to be pushing these very, very intense subjects and topics on these kids at a young age. It's just not good. It's not good at all. So have yourself a great day. Make sure you get outside today. Make sure you take the time for you, sit silently in nature, so you can stay grounded in a ungrounded and crazy, crazy world that we live in.